is about a squirrel. In South India, there are many squirrels that have 3 stripes across their back. And so I want to tell you the story of how the squirrel got those stripes. Okay, first some questions for the audience. What might be, if you were building a bridge, yes. Oh, okay. Can you see me now? Okay. If you were in the situation of having to build a bridge from India to Lanka, what might be some of the obstacles in your way? Yes. Rocks, okay, you need to bring rocks to the ocean in order to make the bridge, and as we know, some rocks and boulders are very large and heavy. Okay, other obstacles? Yes. Waves, good point, yeah. Especially if it gets very windy, you have to work in that environment where there are lots of waves. What else? Other obstacles? Anybody? Could you speak a little louder?
On the cards in the water.
Right, right. You're going to be building a bridge that goes all across the water, and that ocean is very deep. Okay, does anybody know how it was that those rocks did not sink to the bottom of the ocean? I see a hand in the back. Can you tell us? Very good. Because they inscribed the name of Ram on the rocks stayed, they floated. Now, we always know that in any story there's more than one version, right? Okay? So let me tell you that in South India there's a story, a different story of why those rocks stayed on the top of the water. And it has to do with a very naughty child. Okay? Now this child, when he was growing up, he was extremely contrary and he drove his parents crazy. Why? Because he used to take everything from his house and drop it in the river nearby. So the parents would go out and see that the table had been thrown into the river, or that his books had been thrown into the river, or that lunch had been thrown into the river, and it would fall to the bottom of the river. And the father was very angry, and he said, "You will never grow up to be a good human being if you keep throwing everything into the river." So he said, "I curse you that from now on, everything that you throw on water will float." Okay? Now, that small boy at that time thought that he was being cursed to a terrible fate, but actually, when it came time to build the bridge to Lanka, he became a hero because everything that he threw into the water floated. And that's one story about how the bridge was built to Lanka. And the other story that was reported by the person in the back, that's another story of why the rocks floated. Now, we've talked about some obstacles. Building a bridge to Lanka was a very difficult task, but there's a particular creature, a squirrel, who played a major role in building this bridge. But the squirrel had a lot of difficulties before people recognized his ability to contribute to the project. And let me tell you a little bit about this squirrel. The squirrel lived in Rameshwaram, where the bridge was being built, and he saw that lots of people were working on the bridge. Who can tell me some of the various people who were working on building the bridge? I know that there's some very knowledgeable people here. Name some of the characters who worked on the bridge. Anybody? Hanuman, he's the first, yes? No, good. In fact, Null was the boy who threw the things into the water. That was Null. He was a bad boy when he grew up, became to be a very good bridge builder. Okay, Null, yep.